Today I'm going to share with you 7 habits of successful people that nobody is talking about. Habit number 1 is the habit of building other good habits. Now, why is that important? Look at every single successful person that you know of. Do they have great habits or do they have lousy habits? You're gonna say they have great habits. Now, my question to you is, were they born with those habits? Of course not, right? They were born just like you and me. They were born crying and afraid and bloody, just like you and me, right? So how did they end up with those great habits? It's because over time they developed good habits. Is that making sense? Are you following me? Do you see the logic behind that? So if that's the case, what can you and me, what could we do to develop our habits over time? It's very simple. Every single day we can focus on developing our habits by asking a simple question like, what habits can I develop today? You see the simplicity of that question? It's gonna shift our focus, so we're gonna focus on our habits, and as Tony Robbins says, where focus goes, energy flows. Is that making sense? Okay, habit number 2 is the habit of developing a great mindset. Now, why is mindset so important? Mindset determines our behavior. Mindset determines how we view things. Our beliefs are part of our mindset, right? So our beliefs and mindset is forcing us to view things in different ways, and those beliefs could be limiting us, right? So look at every single successful person that you know of. Do they have a great mindset? Do they have a bad mindset, right? They have a great mindset, right? So again, how did they end up with that mindset? They weren't born with it. Maybe their environment helped, but overall they build that. Is that making sense? So how can you and me build that mindset of greatness? It's very simple. So how can you and me develop that great mindset? It's very simple. Every single day we can expose ourselves to information, to empowering information that improves our beliefs. That could be listening to motivation videos, or listening to a podcast by successful people, or could be watching some YouTube videos by people who are inspirational, right? So can you see the possibilities of exposing ourselves to those successful ideas and changing our environment? So that's what you can do to improve your mindset. Habit number 3 is the habit of being decisive. Why is being decisive so important? It's because successful people, they make decisions quickly and they change their minds slowly. Napoleon Hill talked about this in his book Think and Grow Rich, and he gave the example of Henry Ford, who was one of the richest people in his time, right? And he was famous for making decisions and sticking to them. Like everyone in his team were begging him, let's change this decision. No, he stuck to it, and that's what made him successful. Are you with me? Is that making sense? Let me give you an example. Imagine a person that's undecisive and they want to read a book, right? Now, they're gonna spend a week thinking what book to read. Then they're gonna pick a book, read a couple pages, change their minds, that it's a bad book. Then spend another week searching for a different book. So that person will just repeat the process and just waste their time, right? So can you see that being undecisive is wasting that person's time? So that's the power of being decisive. When we are decisive, we save time and we also feel more confident. So how can you be more decisive? It's very simple. It's awareness. When you make decisions, and you and I and everyone makes decisions every single day, many decisions. What clothes to wear, where should I drive, what food to eat. When you make decisions, pay attention on how long it takes you to make a decision. If it takes you too long, then you know that's an area where you can improve. Is that making sense? Are you with me? All right? All right, habit number 4. And that's the habit of developing your communication skills. Why are communication skills so important? Is because they allow us to interact with other people in a way where we can develop good relationships and a great reputation in the marketplace, also develop great friendships and connections with other people. Also, look at every person that's successful in business. They know how to sell, right? They know how to articulate their value. That's a communication skill. And we're not born with that, right? They developed that over time. So how can you develop your communication skill? It's very simple. There are many books you can read. There are many programs you can join. One idea I would recommend is join a group like Toastmasters, which is just public speaking. So that would allow you to develop your speaking skills. Habit number 5 is the habit of developing your self-esteem. Why is self-esteem so critical? It's because most people, they are held back not because of not knowing what to do. It's because they are afraid of doing those things. Because being successful means doing things differently. It means doing things out of the ordinary, which is different than most people. So it means we are standing out. And most people are afraid of standing out because they think they're not enough, right? So how can you develop your self-esteem? Also go back to the successful people. Do they have high self-esteem or low self-esteem? Of course they have great self-esteem. When they walk down the street, they hold their head up high, right? They walk with confidence. So they have high self-esteem, and it's very, very critical. And I hope you develop it as well. Habit number 6 is developing an ethical code. Why is being ethical important? It's because reputation. Why is reputation important? Not just in business, but in life. So let's look at business. In business, if you have a bad reputation, you're not going to be in business very long, right? People, once they know you and once they see you have a bad reputation, they're not going to do business with you. Now, also on the personal side, why is being ethical important? Let me give you an example. Imagine a thief that, let's say they rob a bank, right? Stick with me. So they rob a bank, they are never caught, so they get to enjoy the money and they get to spend the rest of their lives without being caught, right? Now, my question is, will that thief have peace of mind? No, right? Anytime when somebody knocks on their door, they're gonna be afraid, right? Because it's like they're gonna be like, is the police? Have they finally caught me? Right? So you see, being ethical is a benefit, is a personal benefit, because it allows us to be more peaceful, more grateful, and more happier. Are you following the logic behind that? Yes? I hope you will develop an ethical code as well. When you develop an ethical code, it feels like a boulder being lifted from your shoulders. You feel so much lighter, you feel happier, you feel more grateful, and you feel more fulfillment in your life. So that's very, very important. And look at all the successful people that you know. So Warren Buffett developed a great reputation by being ethical. Is that making sense? Alright, so last habit number 7 is the habit of utilizing motivation correctly. What does that mean? Let me explain. Remember, motivation goes up and down, right? We sometimes are very motivated, sometimes are very unmotivated, and we procrastinate, right? So the problem is this: when people are motivated, they make a decision to start a new habit, to take an action. But the problem is they say, I'm gonna start tomorrow, I'm gonna start next week. And then a little bit of time passes, their motivation goes down. Now their decision is changed. They no longer want to take the action that they said they're gonna take yesterday, right? So how can we maximize this up and down of motivation? It's very, very simple. Whenever we feel motivated and we make a decision, we want to take an action that moment, even if it's a small action, just a small, tiny action. Example, Imagine you feel motivated and you want to read the book, right? So you feel motivated, you want to read the book. What could you do in that moment? Can you read a whole book? No, but you can read one page or just one paragraph. Even a smaller action could just be just buying the book online. That's leveraging your motivation in the moment, because otherwise that motivation will disappear the next day and you're gonna miss out. Is that making sense? So imagine you're leveraging your motivation. Imagine you're capturing that motivation in the moment and you're utilizing it to start new habits. Imagine where could you be in 3 years from now? How many more good habits could you develop? My name is Coach Adam, and my goal is to help 1,000 people develop their habits and transform their lives. And I hope you are one of those people, and I hope we connect soon. Looking forward to that. So, if you want to develop your habits and transform your life, then subscribe today.